Emmerdale spoilers, Chris Bisson and Scarlett Archer reveal what's next for Jai Sharma and Nell Fairfax. Who would have thought we would be rooting for conniving container king Jai Sharma in Emmerdale and hoping that his happy ending was just around the corner. Mysterious newcomer Nell Fairfax was an enigma for some time, but now fans are truly hoping that she may be the one for Jai and that they can bring each other happiness. And their relationship is about to step up a gear as they discover they are expecting a baby and consider marriage too. With so much happening so fast between the pair, we caught up with Chris Bisson and Scarlett Archer, as well as show boss Iain MacLeod, for the lowdown on what's ahead. Is Jai a changed man? He hasn't locked anyone in a container for a while. Chris, he seems to have got over his caging fetish. I think he's seen the error of his ways. He was never really a bad character, he just went off the rails. When he first joined, he certainly wasn't as bad as he ended up. Circumstances and being married to Charity took him in a direction that he probably didn't want to go in. But he's pulling himself back, and maybe he has been too good and he'll probably find his center at some point. Does he think Nell is right for him, or is he not sure? Chris, I think things move quite quickly between Jai and Nell, and he comes under a bit of pressure and the maybe gets pushed along a little bit quicker than he would like to go. But Nell's pregnancy forces the issue. Iain, it's a big intimidating life event, isn't it? And as Chris said, Jai and Nell are still quite new really. I know soap years are a bit like dog years. It's a long-term relationship, but it's still quite early for that kind of news. I think it's daunting really. It's not that he's dragging his heels or doesn't want this, it's just that it's happening slightly more quickly than he may have wanted. I think there's all kinds of reasons for Jai to be a bit anxious, but I think he's still seeing this as his happy ending. It's not that he's a reluctant party in it all. Nell thinks she's found her Prince Charming. What is it about Jai that she likes so much? Scarlett, well, they have so much in common. They've both lost a child, they've both struggled to get over this addiction, and she's found someone that she can really relate to. On paper they don't look like a normal couple would, and it seems a bit wrong at first, but I think she just needs someone to love her. He's been really kind to her and they've had this past experience they can share, and stories they can relate to each other with. I think she's just happy that she's got this support system and this family to love her. Does she want a big wedding day? Scarlett, yeah. She's come from a hard background and I think she's always dreamed of having this big, romantic wedding and a baby. I think she's quite traditional in a sense, and this just seems like everything is falling into place and it's exciting. Will having lost a child make her more insecure and paranoid than she would have otherwise been, with this new pregnancy? Scarlett, it's happened really quickly. We've only just did Rosie's funeral, so to get pregnant and have this new baby, she does talk about worrying about not remembering Rosie. So that is a big concern. She's also quite insecure about the photography side of things, isn't she? Scarlett, yeah, now that she's got a relationship, she wants to focus on having a career as well. I just don't think she's very confident and she feels quite insecure about everything. But Jai again is being very supportive and he nurtures that photography talent. Chris, very nice and supportive all the way through. Iain, and not a container in sight. Is it the support and the stability that she's interested in, or is it Jai? Scarlett, good question. I think at first it was the support, because she was in a really bad place in that first now meeting. So I think at first, it was the support. He gave her his coat, and he was just being kind to her, and that shocked her. I think she grew to like him. It wasn't straight away. Chris, I think as well, she hasn't got a family, so she likes the support of that family environment, which we touch on a couple of times. She's never had this and now she feels secure, and that's important to her. Scarlett, they do grow very, very close because of the shared traumas they've been through. Does he want to propose, or is it more accidental? Chris, it comes as a surprise to Jai that she is considering marriage so soon. And I think in that classic soap way where the man always has to look a bit foolish and behind the curve and has to catch up emotionally to make the right decision and be in the right place. Iain: the pregnancy plays a big part in it. Chris: he has to come round to the idea more quickly than he would like to. Would you like there to be a soap wedding? Chris: I think so, because my last wedding was off camera to Megan. Laughs. We pulled up outside the Woolpack and went, hey, we've got married. And the time before that with Charity. I do like a soap wedding, yeah. It's always a disaster, isn't it? So it's always fun. Scarlett: do you get stopped in the street and recognized? Scarlett: no, I don't. I look a bit different. Unless I've gone into my local Sainsbury's and I've just got out of bed with a hangover and in my trainers, and someone will be like, you are that Emmerdale girl. I wouldn't recognize you if you looked nice, and I'm like, oh, thank you. Laughs. But no, people generally don't. It's nice not getting harassed too much. How have you found the fan reaction? Scarlett: I think people just don't know what to make of it because there is an air of her coming out of nowhere. And when you come into a show out of nowhere, people are attached to the existent families, so to have an outsider come in, it's a bit like, who is this person in my living room? Chris: the fans have been suspicious of Nell from the start, or certainly the super fans on Twitter anyway, but I think you get a bit of that with every character. I've started on 2 soaps now in my lifetime, and it's always a bit, do we like him, don't we like him? And then you become part of the family and you're accepted. Nell is probably just going through that process now. Do you check Twitter and other social media? Scarlett: I used to, but now I do not. I would drive myself crazy. The people that I speak to in person or the people that come up to me randomly are just so lovely and so nice, and you do have 1 or 2 people on Twitter or social network who are not so nice, but it doesn't bother me at all. Chris: is it nice that people are more protective over Jai on this occasion, given how they might have felt about him in the past? Chris: well, yeah, he's been the villain for a very long time, so it's been interesting to watch. Obviously we have a big digital team at ITV and they monitor everything about what everyone says about any character, and it's been interesting to see the audience go from hating Jai to gradually coming back round to thinking actually we're on his side and we want things to go well for him. That's an interesting journey to go on with an audience because he wasn't particularly nice for a very long time. The thing is, they have to love you or hate you. When you're in the middle ground and no one cares, that's when the producer starts crossing your name off the list.